Hi, everybody. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got just 15 minutes for our second case study this morning. For those of you who just came in, my name is Darren Milligan. I'm here from the MCN board. And it's my pleasure this morning to introduce our second case study, Jay Mollica, who joined SFMOMA in July of 2015. He is the museum's creative technologist and pursues innovative and experimental initiatives while also maintaining and extending existing digital platforms. So we have very few minutes. We may have a minute or two for Q&A. If we don't, I think we'll probably linger here for a second, but take it away, Jay.
All right, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm here to talk to you about a project called Me SFMOMA. There's some data right there. And so it's very popular these days for museums, which is great, to open their collection up to the public. And what that means usually is you get a list of like 100,000 things. And that's kind of an opaque measure. Like, I can't really keep 100,000 things in my head at one time. I can keep like 3. Oh. Better? Worse? Closer to the mic. All right. So I can keep about 3 things in my head at one time and not really 100,000. And so what's a way to kind of personalize this data so that you know, to the people who are not technical, who don't know how to comb through 100,000 artworks programmatically. So we made Me SFMOMA. You text 57251 with a descriptive word or an emoji or a color, and you'll get back an artwork from our collection that pertains to your thing. So we debuted this on June 19th of 2017. And it ended up going viral, and we were doing about 70,000 text messages an hour. And we were using Twilio to send SMS messages, and apparently we were Twilio's best customer that week. We would beat Uber and Lyft to that. And so as of today, we've done about 4.3 million text messages. And the average person is texting us about 5 times, and we're still getting thousands of texts a day. So here's some of the coverage that we got from it. New York Times, magazine just came out with something. And probably the most surreal moment was seeing Carson Daly explain to Al Roker how to use it on the Today Show. So that's still the most surreal moment to come out of this. So for a while, we were one of the most trending topics on Twitter. And so you can see that we were trending next to the Home Run Derby. We were trending next to Amazon Prime Day. Donald Trump Jr. So to put the collection of an art museum in the national zeitgeist along with all of these other things is pretty incredible. And so that was kind of surreal to see people educating themselves at the same rate they were watching home runs. And so here are the top things that people are asking for. They're asking for positive things. This is like a good vibes machine. So people are asking for love, family, cats, dogs, flowers, happiness. And it's great because people aren't really asking negative things from it. People are using it in positive ways. And here's some of the good vibes we're sending out. And an interesting thing that's kind of come out of this is that people are getting back art and artworks from people they've never heard of before, and they're all of a sudden it's their new favorite artwork they're saying. And so here's another thing I want to bring up is that it's also very popular to start using computer vision to tag keywords in your artworks. And so here's an example of artificial intelligence tagging an artwork by Gary Wanegren. You can see very brutalist terms here. We have like roads, sidewalk, person, intersection, junction. So we actually relied on another kind of AI, which I'm calling actual intelligence. So for 10 years or more, SFMOMA's collection specialists have been tagging descriptive keywords on our collection. And that was an incredible find for somebody like me who loves playing with data. And so here are the keywords that an actual person put in on this. And look how more human they are. Look at the sunglasses, girls playing sidewalks, taxis. And the taxi one is really interesting because how would a computer know that you're hailing a cab there? To a computer, you're like waving or something? Like only a human could really differentiate that. And so that's really where the soul of this project comes from. It comes from the human insight. And when people text something and they get back their new favorite artwork, it's because it's a human-to-human connection, and it's not, an artificial intelligence. And so, like here, people are using emojis, and they're getting, what these provide are salient entry points into the story of the artwork. So when you get back this text, it is not the ending, but it's the beginning of your exploration. What's going on here? What's the story of this? So what's next? So we quickly familiarize ourselves with the Byzantine practices of communications technology, and it turns out the short code 57251 is only available in the U.S. and every country has different versions of short codes, and every country has different rules around them. So, and also text messaging, while it's very popular in the U.S., is not very popular in other parts of the world. Most of the world uses WhatsApp or WeChat or Facebook Messenger. And so we began partnering with other institutions around the world in Asia, Oceania, and within America as well, for people to syndicate their own version of SendMe. And so we have other museums around the world now beginning to open up their collections in similar manners, and which is great because in San Francisco, the SFMOMA collection is very, relevant to you as a, when you're in San Francisco, it's a very, Bay Area focused collection. So when you're out in the other parts of the world, the further you get from San Francisco, perhaps the less relevant the SFMOMA collection is to you. So you'll be able to go to other parts of the world and then explore the community through their art collection. And also, since we've sent about 4.3 million text messages, it means that's enough to send out every work of our collection over 100 times. So it's good to see some fresh art. And I just want to say thank you to my great web and digital team, Kira Winesmith, Sarah Bailey Hogarty, Emily Robbins, Emma Fox Hoddes, Bridget Carberry, and Chad Kerver, the CCO. I would like to thank him for providing the kind of landscape for these kind of experiments to happen. And then Marla Masunis, Margaret Kendrick, Lena White are the collection specialists that went in and actually tagged these with the human keywords. So I'd like to actually congratulate them on this. And our press team and our social media manager, Katie Booth, and the social media team, who actually had to go through hundreds and if not thousands of Facebook and Twitter of people actually just typing into Facebook, "send me flowers," or something like that. And he had to respond to hundreds of those. And and our marketing team, and Dan Keaton, and our visitor experience and membership teams. And that's about it. So if there's any questions, we can, I'll take them. Way in the back. No. It was.
Could you repeat the question? Just.
Oh yeah. So did we partner with an outside agency for this? And the answer is no. This was a homegrown experiment that I did the web development, the programming around it. And I want to say another important thing is that we wanted to use a native technology of the phone, and that would to increase accessibility. Like nobody has to install an app, so and everybody knows how to use SMS, and it's a familiar, personal thing. And so that was important. Was the kind of range of accessibility that we used. In the back.
Have you thought about a second level in terms of expanding is awesome, but if I text and I get the art back, is there a way where you would think about a version where I can then say, I want to know more about this artist, or can you send me more art from this artist, or more from this genre? Is there a way to think about, I don't know how much more code that would take to be able to do something second level like that, but is there a way for them to access a link to a blog about that artist or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. We originally explored sending links back and forth, but it turns out a hyperlink in a text message behaves wildly differently across Android or even different versions of iOS. And so to keep it as consistent as possible, we only sent image and caption, plain text caption. And the good news is that every artwork you get back, you can find on our website. They're all also available on sfmoma.org. And we have begun to think about how to layer in more further stories and information. What we want to avoid is super users, people who are just experts. We want it to be kind of accessible to everybody in equal manner. So we're kind of exploring how to approach that next.
Is there any cultural, internal museum resistance to emoji as to superficial or insulting
Well, the biggest resistance actually came from myself because I had no idea how to use emojis. I'd never used one in Discourse before, so I actually I had to call an emoji summit at work and like get get some millennials in the room to kind of explain to me what how emojis are used in Discourse. So that was the biggest resistance. That was the most time consuming part because I actually had to map over 400 emojis to keywords. That took the longest. The bot back and forth thing was actually pretty quick. And also some popular terms that we don't have fulfilled is apparently we don't have any, like, people love to text us the alien head. We just don't have any aliens in the collection, so I've been begging like curators like to please accession an alien for me, like, or like at least X-Files box set or something. I don't know. Another popular one is the eggplant, but we don't have any pictures of eggplants in our collection. But I've been trying to get that accessioned as well. So, yes.
Because this helps direct your collections team, like you mentioned, the alien thing. Has it changed how you guys look at the specific product and what you do to diversify your gallery?
You mean like to what we show on the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. Like, I know the curators at first were kind of unsure what to think about it, but then when they saw its appeal, they just started keywording stuff like crazy. So it's already gotten the curators to kind of change their kind of outlook about this, and people, they've come asking like, how do we? They were like, oh, I want them, like, we have an exhibit about this artist going on. How do we, when they say ask for this artist name, how do we send them back a picture from that artist? And the answer to that is it's not for famous names. It's a tool of exploration. And so if you want a Picasso, you can Google Picasso. And this is more, send me a cat and you'll get back something from an artist you've never heard about. It's in the back.
Quick question. Was this an idea that you came up with on your own, or was it something that you came up with with a committee? And then also, how long did it take from the time that you guys conceived of this to the actual development of all?
Yeah, so I came up with it one day and created a prototype in a day, like all in the same day, and then I hosted it the next day and I showed it to the coworkers and they were pretty jazzed about it. And so then we kind of beta tested it by and we had a 10-digit phone number, like a regular one, and then that got blacklisted because it was so many people were texting it. They thought we were spamming people with art. So we had to get the short code because they know not to block those.
Are there any rights issues with sending out the images?
Are there any rights issues? We were told we're legally okay to do that. It's a public, knowledge. It's an educational tool.
Who
Yeah.
told you that?
Our legal experts. My dad. Yes.
I'm curious about how exactly, which keywords you were able to assign to emojis and who helped determine that.
Yeah, like I gathered a consortium of millennials to help me with that, and I tried because the keywords are beautiful. The keywords that the collection specialists put in are just beautifully like diverse, but also predictable and objective. And it's great that when you ask for like a burger, you get a burger back, or not some abstract, like not something like So you can't really ask for like tranquility because my tranquility might be different than your tranquility. It's a very objective. You ask for this, you get it back. Yes.
One more follow-up question too. I guess to further extend that question, for example, with the eggplant example, like how do you know how far to go with what words you're assigning to the emojis?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like there was a little bit of if you guys want to try the peach, we kind of were a little bit loose with that definition, but there are some calls you have to make, but a lot of the time you just try to be as objective as possible. Or like there's about 20 different smiling emojis, and they all just kind of map to smiling because they're all smiling but in different ways. Anybody else? I guess that's it.
All right.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, it's exhausting. I can tell you, like, every friggin' month there's new ones, and like apparently there's this. I just was reading this article about how there's this big battle down at the emoji consortium about, like, should we have a frowning pile of poop? And I'm like, yes, it's 2017. We should definitely have a frowning pile of poop.
All right. Jay, thank you very much.
Oh, wait,
we have
there's
one
one.
more. Go on. Yeah, please.
You sort of talked about lots of requests that the museum has been able to answer. Have you had any feedback about a lack of culturally specific content?
Can you expand on that more, please?
I worked at the Studio Museum in Harlem
Mhm.
and tested a bunch of terms that we use, and I didn't get any responses.
Yeah, that's
Thinking about this as a tool that is really inclusive.
That's a great question. As it stands right now, it's not very intelligent bot. I kind of liken it to a 2-year-old. So if you ask a 2-year-old, can you go into the kitchen and get me a wooden spoon? It'll probably, go into the kitchen. You'll come back with, like, maybe something wooden, maybe a spoon, maybe a wooden spoon, but it'll probably be cute no matter what. But yeah, it's definitely something. An area worth improving to kind of expand its intelligence from just beyond keywords to more phrases and groups of words. Yes.
It'd be great to get the term that didn't work.
Oh yeah. Oh, one more.
How involved were the curators in this process?
How involved were they? They were not very involved, and then they after they kind of saw how people liked it, they started kind of adding their own keywords after that.
All right.
All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jay.